So isa na lang naman na quadrilateral hindi pa natin na-encounter. Yun yung quadrilateral na tinatawag nating kite. So dito na natin siya ma-encounter because one characteristic of a kite is that it has perpendicular diagonals. So ma-encounter natin siya in this lesson. Again, what we are going to talk about here is about the area of a trapezoid and area of quadrilaterals with perpendicular diagonals. Boom! Panis! So those are also the words that you might say when you answer correctly a certain math problem. Lalo na if the given problems are difficult problems. Diba? So you might say those words. So boom! Panis! Di parang ang tingin mo sasabihin mo, galing-galing mo, di ba? Pag nakapagsagot ka ng any problem in math. Lalo pag mahirap na problem. But the main idea here is that whether you answer a difficult or easy problems in math correctly, the main idea there is that you answered it correctly. It's because you understand the lesson taught by your teacher. So ayun yung pinaka main idea doon. So hindi mo naman masasagot yung isang problem in math if you don't know on how to solve for it. So the first thing is that it was being taught to you, then you apply it through examples. Or there are also other persons who are teaching you on how to solve for it. But basically, you cannot solve those problems if you don't know on how to solve for it. So sa madaling salita, pag nakapag-solve ka ng problems ng math, whether easy man o difficult yun, ibig sabihin, maiintindihan ka on the lesson that you discuss on a specific topic. So ano pang hinihintay natin? Baka at the end of this lesson that we are going to tackle today, you might also say the words boom, panis. So let's continue now our discussion. So we are now on lesson number 6. So lesson number 6 this time, what we are going to talk about is to find for the area of a trapezoid and also the area of quadrilaterals with perpendicular diagonals. So isa na lang naman na quadrilateral hindi pa natin na-encounter. Yun yung quadrilateral na tinatawag nating kite. So dito na natin siya ma-encounter because one characteristic of a kite is that it has perpendicular diagonals. So ma-encounter natin siya in this lesson. Again, what we are going to talk about here is about the area of a trapezoid and area of quadrilaterals with perpendicular diagonals. So, para ma-solve natin yung problems on finding the area of a trapezoid and quadrilaterals with perpendicular diagonals or other things that we can that we have to find out in this lesson. So it will be easier if we are going to come up with a formula on solving for it. So di ba mas maganda if we are going to follow certain pattern or we call it formula for us to solve for a certain things that we are looking for in the problem. So, in order for us to solve what we are looking for in the problem in this lesson, so these formulas will help us. So, we do have two formulas here. So, una, in finding the area of a trapezoid. You know naman already what a trapezoid is. Diba? Whether if it's an isosceles trapezoid or regular trapezoid. So we are going to solve this formula in finding its area. So the formula for finding the area of a trapezoid is equal to h, which stands for the height, times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2 all over 2. What is h that we are pertaining to there? H is the height of the trapezoid. And we made mention in our last lesson that the height of the trapezoid is also known as the altitude of the trapezoid. And bases, we know already B sub 1 and B sub 2, those are the bases of the trapezoid. Then simply divide it by 2, then multiply it by the height, then you come up with the area of the trapezoid. Then on the other hand, in order for us to find the area of a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals, to be specific, to find the area of a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals. So all we have to do is to apply the formula. Area of a quadrilateral is equal to d sub 1 times d sub 2 all over 2. What is d sub 1 and d sub 2 that we are pertaining to there? Those are the diagonals of the given quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals. Ano-ano ba yung mga quadrilaterals with perpendicular diagonals? Those are uh, um, rhombus and kite. Rhombus and kite. Although square also has perpendicular diagonal, but we already know on how to find the area of a square. That is just applying the formula to find the area of a square, which is just s side times side or s squared. So, but basically, the figure wherein we're going to make use on the formula for finding the area of quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals are figures like height and rhombus. So now, ano pang hinihintay natin? Let's try to answer examples wherein we are finding the area whether a given figure is a trapezoid or a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals. So all you have to do is just simply remember these formulas. So to apply these formulas, let's try it through examples. Let's have here example number 1. To find the area of the given trapezoid. So we do have here a given trapezoid with a given measurement for the basis of it as well as its altitude, which is also known as the height of the trapezoid. So since the given figure here is a trapezoid, and going back to the two formulas that we have presented earlier, so which of the two formulas yung gagamitin natin? Of course, the formula in order for us to find the area of a trapezoid. And that formula is area of a trapezoid is equal to height, which is the altitude, times the quantity base 1, base sub b sub 1 plus b sub 2 all over 2. So since given naman yung measure of its bases as well as its height, all you have to do is just simply substitute those givens in the formula. So when we do that, it will come up like this. So A is equal to 10, which is the height according to the given figure. Then the bases are 20 and 30. So 20 plus 30 over 2. So we can simplify 20 plus 30 here, which is equal to 50 over 2. So 50 divided by 2, since it's exactly divisible, so we'll come up with 25. But ang ginawa dito is we remove 2, the denominator 2 here, by canceling 10 and 2. So it's just like we divide 10 by 2. So 10 divided by 2 here is equal to 5, 10 times 50. But we'll come up with the same answer even if we divide 50 by 2. So magiging 25 yon. So 25 times 10, that's 250. In the same way, kapag ginawa natin 10 divided by 2, that would be 5 times 50. That's also the same as 250. So since we are pertaining to the area of that given trapezoid, the area is in terms of square units. So since there is a given unit of measurement there, which is in terms of meter, so the area of a given trapezoid with the given measures in the figure is equal to 250 square meters. So that's how we solve example number 1. Any question? So if none so far, let's proceed on answering the next example. So let's have example number 2. Find the area of rhombus IGOP if IO is equal to 25 units and GP is equal to 30 units. So, tingnan natin figure. Ito yung rhombus IGOP. So, ito daw IO, ito, measures 25 units. While GP, ito naman, the other diagonal, measures 30 units. So, what are we going to do to solve for this? So, balik ulit tayo sa formula na present natin kanina. Since rhombus, isang characteristic niya is that it has perpendicular diagonals, so we can make use of the second formula that we have presented earlier. What is that formula? So, to have the solution for it, the formula that we are going to use is A is equal to D sub 1 times D sub 2 all over 2. What is that D sub 1 and D sub 2 again? That's the measure of the diagonals of the given quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals. So, given naman yung measure of the diagonals based on the problem. So, all we have to do is to just simply substitute those givens in the problem, then solve for the equation or isolate the given equation. Substitute natin, IO, that's diagonal, 25 units, then GP, that's 30 units. So, ang gagawin natin to simplify it, pwedeng pag-multiply natin yung dalawa, then divide natin by 2, or pwedeng isimplify na natin by using cancellation. Kasi 30 naman is exactly divisible by 2, pwede natin gawin yun. So, but what we did here is we multiply the 2. So 30 times 25 will come up with 750. And 30 times 25 will come up with 750. Then saka natin siya i-divide by 2. So 750 divided by 2, that would be equal to 375. Since there's no unit of measurement involved in the problem, and since we are going to find for the area of that given rhombus, so it should be in square units. So kapag walang unit of measurement, it should be in square units pa rin dapat siya. So it should be units squared or square units. So the area of the given rhombus is equal to 375 square units. So ganito rin yung kalalabasan natin even if we do cancellation. So 30 divided by 2, that would be 15. And 25 times 15, that would be also equal to 375. So don't forget the unit of measurement when you are looking for the area of a certain quadrilateral, a given quadrilateral. Because since you are finding the area, it should always be in square units. So hindi pwedeng ilagay mo lang unit, hindi pwedeng ilagay mo lang meters kapag may unit of measurement ang meters, it should be in square units. Naintindihan yon? Always remember that. So, any question on example number 2? So, let's try another example for you to understand it more clearly. Next, sample number 3, find the area of kite CUTE. So, paano itsura nun? So, ito, kite CUTE. Find the area of it with a given measurement for its segments of the diagonals of it. So, 12 meters, yung segment na to. While from this point to point T, measures 25 meters. Then, the segment from point E to the middle is 10 meters, and from the middle to point Q is also 10 meters. Kasi, one characteristics of kite is that it has two adjacent sides which are congruent in measure. So ito yon. Itong side na to, tsaka itong side na to, congruent yung measure niyan, as well as this side and this side are congruent in measure. When you draw the diagonal of a kite, this diagonal, hinahati niya yung other diagonal into equal measures. When you do a diagonal of a kite. So with that given measures on example number 3, we can now solve for its area. So since kite is a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals, so we can make use of the formula that we use on example number 2. So that is A is equal to D sub 1 times D sub 2 all over 2. So all we have to do, since given naman yung mga measures doon, i-substitute na lang natin siya. Diagonal 1, pwedeng ito yon. So itong buo na to since 10 to and 10 din to, that would be 20 in all. So ito, since 12 ito, tapos ito ay 25, that would be 37 in total. Yung buong diagonal ang tinutukoy natin. So we'll come up with 20. Ito yon, diagonal na to, yung buo, 10 plus 10, that would be 20. Then times the other diagonal, itong buong diagonal na to, that would be 12 plus 25. So it's 20 times 37. Again, as I have mentioned to you earlier, to simplify this, pwedeng gumamit ka ng cancellation because 20 naman is exactly divisible by 2, or pwede mong gamitin yung multiplying the 2 first before we divide it by 2. So what we did here is ganun pa rin, yung multiply natin yung numerator first, then saka natin i-divide by 2. Pero pag mas madali, nasa sa inyo naman yun eh. Pwede nyo gamitin yung 20 divided by 2, that would be 10. Times 3 is 37. Mas madali na, di ba? Unlike when you multiply the 2, mas mabilis yung process. So, what we did here, we multiply first the 2, then we come up with 740, then saka natin divide by 2. So, 740 divided by 2, it will be equal to 370. So, since the unit of measurement involved is in terms of meter, and we are going to find for the area, so the answer or the final answer will be the area is equal to 370 square meters. So, nakuha yun? So, ganun din yung makuha natin. Kapag 20 divided by 2, that would be 10 times 37. That's also be 370 pa rin ang makuha natin. So, since the unit is in terms of meter, it should be in square meters. So, the answer for number 3 is 370 square meters as the area of the given kite. So, did you get example number 3? Okay, let's continue to answer more examples. We are now on example number 4, but this time, the given problems are written in words. So let's have example number 4. The problem is, the diagonals of the kite are 16 centimeters and 20 centimeters respectively. So find its area. So, ang kaibahan lang nito doon sa mga unang problems na sinagutan natin is that these problems are written in words. But still, we know that the figure given is a kite. And a kite is a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals with a given measurement for the diagonals of that given kite. So what we are looking for is its area. So pwede ang gawin natin, mag-draw tayo ng figure para ma-visualize natin kung ano yung hinahanap natin, or pwede rin hindi na, since we know that the given figure is a kite. So that we can right away use the formula in finding the area of the quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonal. So to solve for it, so we can use this formula. So A is equal to D sub 1 times D sub 2 over 2. So since given naman yung diagonals, measure the diagonals of the given kite, so we can substitute that to the given formula. So we'll come up with A is equal to 16 times 20 over 2. So pwede ang gawin mo, divide mo 20 by 2 because since exactly divisible naman siya, or 16 by 2, pwede mong gawin yun. Or pwede mong gawin yung multiplying per 16 by 20, which is equal to 320 over 2. Saka mo siya i-divide by 2. So 320 divided by 2, it will be equal to 160. Since the unit of measurement involved is in terms of centimeters, so it should be in square centimeters because we are finding the area of the given kite. So that's how we answer example number 4. So any question with that? Let's try another. So another example is example number 5. So sabi dito, one of the diagonals of a rhombus is 20 centimeters long and its area is 32 square centimeters. How long is the other diagonal? So itong problem to medyo na iba naman. So since given dito yung area of the given given rhombus, because the figure is a rhombus, and given yung measure of one of its diagonals, So what we are looking for is the measure of the other diagonal. So even though we are looking for the measure of the other diagonal, since we know the formula on finding the area of a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonal, so alam natin na gano'n, it's because the given is a rhombus. And one characteristic of a rhombus is that it has a diagonals with perpendicular, it has diagonals with perpendicular, um, it has perpendicular diagonals. So that's why we are going to make use of the same formula we did we used on example number 4. So to come up with a solution to it, so we are going to use that same formula. What we are looking for is the measure of the other diagonal with the given measurement of with the given measure of the other of one of its diagonal as well as its area. So, ang gagawin lang natin, yung mga given in the problem, we just have to substitute it to the given formula. Since area is given, so we have to put the measure of the area here in place of A. Then, one of the diagonal is given, so we have to put 20 on any of the diagonals there. So, we come up with 32, that's the area, equal to 20 d sub 2 times d sub 2 over 2. Then simplify that given equation. So ang gagawin natin, para hindi natin po problemahin yung denominator na 2 in the end, so we have to remove it right away. Let's remove it right away. That is by multiplying both sides of the equation by 2. If you are going to do that, 2 times 32, it will be equal to 64. Then you can cancel out 2 here. So magiging ganito ang kalalabasan. So magiging 64 is equal to 20 d sub 2. What we are looking for is the measure of the other diagonal. So since may kasama pang 20 yung d sub 2 natin, so what we are going to do is to divide both sides of the equation by 20. So ma-cancel out na yung 20 natin dito, mahitira na is d sub 2, which is the one we are looking for in the problem. So d sub 2 is equal to 64 over 20. Since 64 Since 64 is not exactly divisible by 20, so we can apply or we can do or get the lowest term of it, which is equal to 16 over 5. So it's because both 64 and 20 are divisible by 4. So yung 16 over 5 is already acceptable as an answer. But if you want to be more specific, you can change that into decimals if you want. So 16 divided by 5 in decimals is equal to 3.2. So that would be d sub 2 or the measure of the other diagonal. 3.2 centimeters, since the unit of measurement involved there is in terms of centimeters. So 3.2 centimeters yung other diagonal. Bakit hindi square centimeters? It's because we are only looking for the measure of one of its diagonal. We are not looking for the area of it. So did you get that? So yun yung kaibahan kapag area ang hinahanap mo than dun sa diagonal lang or dun sa base lang. Okay? Did you get example number 5? So hopefully. So let's try another example. Let's have example number 6. So the problem is, the base of the trapezoid measures 16 centimeters and 12 centimeters, while its area is 70 square centimeters. Find the height of the trapezoid. This time we are looking for the height, which is also known as the altitude of that trapezoid. So paano natin kukunin yon? So since the given figure is a trapezoid, that means the formula on finding the area of a trapezoid will help us in order for us to find the height of the trapezoid. And what would be that formula? So A is equal to H times the quantity B sub 1 plus B sub 2 all over 2. So since given naman yung measures of its bases as well as its area, so just like what we did in example number 5, all you have to do is just simply substitute those given values, then isolate the equation to find for the one we are looking for in the problem. Substitute natin. area is 70 is equal to h, which is what the one we are looking for. Then 16 and 12 are the measures of its bases. So 16 plus 12 over 2. So 16 plus 12, it will be equal to 20. It will be equal to 28. Then since 28 is exactly divisible by 2, we can simplify that as 14. 14 times h is equal to 14h. So magiging 70 is equal to 14h. So since the height is what we are looking for, so since it's still accompanied by 14, so we have to divide both sides of the equation by 14. So that we come up with the value of h as 70 divided by 14. So since 70 is exactly divisible by 14, we come up with the value of its height as 5 centimeters. So the one we are looking for, which is the height of a trapezoid in the given problem number 6, is equal to 5 centimeters. Again, the unit is just in terms of centimeters. It's because we are not looking for the area. Again, maglalagay lang tayo ng square dun sa unit of measurement natin when we are looking for the area. So, nakuha yun? So, that's how we answer example number 6. Nakuha example number 6. So, hindi pa rin, let's try this last example. Let's have example number 7. So, the problem is, the area of a trapezoid is 145 square meters. The length of one base is 14 meters and the length of its altitude is 10 meters. Altitude is the same as the height. So find the length of the other base. This time we are looking for the length of the other base given yung area, given yung measure of one of its base, given yung height of it, which is the measure of the altitude. So we are looking for the other base. Since trapezoid is given, still the same formula that we use on example number 6 is the one we are going to make use here. So, substitute lang natin yung mga nakikita natin given in the problem. The area is 145. Then it will be equal to 10, which is the height or the altitude. Then 14 is the one of its base. And we are looking for the other base. Then divide it by 2. Then what we're going to do next, since 10 here is exactly divisible by 2, pwede na agad natin ma-remove yun to dito by simplifying this. So we'll come up with 145 is equal to 5. Magiging 5 na. That's 10 divided by 2. That will be 5 times 14 plus b sub 2. Then we use distributive property by multiplying here. 5 times 14 and 5 times b sub 2. So magkakaroon tayo ng 145 is equal to 5 times 14 is 70 plus 5b sub 2. Then, pwede natin combine similar terms by moving 70 to the left side of the equation or pwede na agad natin siyang i-rearrange na nasa yung b sub 2 is on the right, on the left side. Or pwedeng hindi pa muna. Pwedeng ganun din. Pwedeng i-arrange natin or pwedeng hindi pa rin muna. So, move lang natin 70 to the left side. That would be 145 minus 70. So, that would be equal to 75. So, in-arrange na natin siya to the right form. So, 145 minus 70, that would be equal to 75. Then, it will equal to 5b sub 2. Then, since we are looking for b sub 2 and it's still accompanied by 5, so we have to divide both sides of the equation by 5. So, by doing that, we'll come up with the value of b sub 2, which is equal to 15 centimeters. So, it should be in meters. Dapat it's in meters. So, because the unit of measurement involved there is in terms of meters. So, the answer should be 15 meters. Nagkaroon lang tayo ng typographical error on the answer on example number 7. But it should be in terms of meters. So, that's how we answer example number 7. Any questions? So, I hope yung 7 examples that we answered today helps you a lot in answering problems which involves on finding the area of a trapezoid as well as area of a quadrilateral with perpendicular diagonals. So if there are no more questions, So that would be all for today. Goodbye, class!